All right?
Yeah.
All right. I'm George O'Neill. I'm Kobe's friend.
Well, can you start off by describing your family's background and the different cultures that make up your heritage?
Yeah. My dad's from Belfast in Northern Ireland, which is like on the island of Ireland, but it's technically part of the United Kingdom. And my mom is Hispanic American, and her great-grandparents, so my great-great-grandparents are from Jalisco.
So how do your parents meet?
My dad went to the University of Ulster in a little town in the north of Ireland called Coleraine. And it was like a pretty big shock to my grandparents that he graduated college, because he was like a bit of a messer. But so after he graduated college, his parents, my grandparents, paid for him to go out and see America. And he was supposed to leave for like 6 months. He worked in Jersey for a month. He went to Florida. And then he wanted to go to Colorado Springs because he likes mountain climbing and all of that dumb shit that you do when you're 24. So while he was rock climbing and stuff, he went to party at UCCS, as you do. And he saw my mom at the bar, and she saw him too, and she started walking out. And then he like asked where she was going, and she was just like, I don't know, I'm probably like a diner or something. Where are you going? And he's like, wherever you are. So they started dating. They dated for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then he called my grandparents and he said, I fell in love, I'm never coming home.
And how did your grandparents take that?
Not well initially, because he was on a visa, and like those things are like really difficult to like extend when you're out of the country. So they were like worried about him getting deported or in trouble or stuff like that, but he ended up coming back to Ireland with my mom for a while. So they met her, fell in love with her as well, and she's just as much of a part of the family as he is. So now they're like stoked that he made that decision.
And so you have both English and Irish passport then?
Yeah.
And how has it been like, visiting Ireland and England?
Frequent. Yeah. I go back really often. Usually pretty family oriented. I haven't been able to like really explore the city until I got a bit older, so it's only been, with COVID as well, probably 2 or 3 years that I've gotten to know the city. It's kind of interesting because it's divided by a big wall between Protestant and Catholic communities, because there was a big civil war in between the two while my dad was growing up and just throughout history. So the last couple years are the first time that I've seen an entire half of the city.
And do you like feel a certain connection, like a stronger connection to Ireland, say, than to the US, or to your mom's side of the family, or?
My mom's side of the family is like a bit estranged. So I don't feel overly connected to that part of the family, even though like it would be a part of my identity, like, but I would say Ireland feels like home. I spent a pretty massive part of my childhood there. I'm going there next year to get my master's. I do see myself living there eventually. And like I'm a little bit more tuned into that culture, and I resonate with it more than like American culture, if that even exists.
And do you sometimes like, can you describe like an experience for me where you've kind of like been in Ireland but kind of felt out of place?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, just even having like an American accent, or like, just speaking in my normal vernacular, I like will always get poked fun at and stuff. But kind of interesting is my last name's O'Neill, which is like a really Catholic last name, as like I am Catholic Irish. And I felt out of place there being American, but even more so growing up, because my grandparents would live in like a pretty Protestant neighborhood. And when people found out who my family was, or what my last name was, or like what religion I was a part of, I felt like I don't even live there. I didn't even really grow up there, but it was still out of place. Like I was still looked down upon just for stuff like that because there's such a divide. I feel like sometimes when I go back to Ireland, I have to like lay on thick the American side of me a little bit because you look like such a poser if you try and use like the lingo that I just grew up with over there. It's like some people, like my family, would find it kind of colloquial, but it's like strange for my friends out there to hear me say stuff that like only really Irish people would be tuned into. So I try and like act a little more American there and then just like myself here around my friends, but most of the time they don't even really know what the fuck I'm talking about. I always thought that I was gonna stay here, and I will stay here probably after I get my master's, come back and do the rest of my postgraduate studies in America. But it's a bit of a fucking nightmare here, to be honest, so I would like to travel back. But you know, I've never really experienced what it's like to like live and work, and there's so much culture shock that comes with that, even just in applying to the school. So I would be happy with either, probably just wherever work takes me. But if it was just up to me, like if I had $1 million, like I won the lottery, I'd move back to Ireland. It's better not be too zoomed, dude.
It's not.
I can see it in your face.